one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. It's gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2 3. 1 2 3.
You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know, there's these two words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps cause they know what happens next. So without further ado,
Free smoke.
look. Scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver. Pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga. That's what we do, no foundation. We don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win. So I'm done on my friends. Don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much I have you doing what it meant to me, but motherfuck all that. I don't even offer up the time to make the call back. Stupid Lodo, if they don't get the picture now, man, I crop them out of the photo. I can't relate to my peers. Been doing this shit for years. I'm motivated by fears. I took the wheel and I steer. My sound not dictated by fuck boys in Atlanta. Stay gifted like this album was ghost written by Santa Bars forever, like they decided to throw me under Slammer. Every song's a hit like they picture me underhanders. I could drop 1,000,000 songs, but they never gon' understand us. Soapbox sermons for niggas never giving chances. Fight our whole lives to get these weak ass advances. Work twice as hard for the shit that they getting handed. And this ain't even nothing we chose, nigga, we branded. Still can't tell why all of these niggas mad at me. I'm trying to get 100 so I can put my team on salary. Give it all to the art, man, I turn my life to a gallery. Man, damn, what a fucked up masterpiece. 1,100 shots and I swear, man, I felt them all. If we ain't even good on our blocks, man, who can we call? Pre-decline state of mind, we broke crabs in the barrel. Got us fighting our folk, man, this shit just a life of peril.
Winning has a price. And leadership has a price.
I'm coming. I promise you, on my life, I'm coming. From the first snap, man. From the first second. What are we gonna do, man? All back against the wall. All back is against the wall.
You couldn't even begin to understand how happy I am to say what I'm about to say. Welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with Saint. Actually, the recap. And it's going to be a long show today. It's going to be a little bit of a different show, possibly. I'm not for sure yet. But we got a lot of things to talk about. The thing about this show is we will be recapping week 2 and week 3. But we'll have a more intense, a more, real get into the game type recap when the next show drop. This show is really I'm so happy. It feels so good to be back. Oh my, oh my. My, oh my. No, it hurts. Oh, Listen, it's been a hell of a past 2 weeks. I would love to be completely transparent with all of you who watch and who follow. I really do. And I'm going to be as transparent as I can possibly be. It's been a hell of a week. My alternator broke in my second car. So now I'm down 2 cars and I don't have another ride. My mom's car is down, so I can't even use her shit. I end up, a lot of trials and tribulations are going on right now. Now, you got to understand, my car, the tags were fine. I had to end up using my cousin's car. His tags were not fine. But when you got to get to work and when you got to make bread because you got to pay bills and you late on some things and you got other things to pay, and you guys got to remember, I think I told you guys like a year ago, dealing with these the fines and shit that you deal with while you on probation, and the court fees and all this other type of shit. It has been, when you just take L after L after L after L, and I'm talking about some tough L's. I'm talking about, these is body shots. I'm talking about Tank Davis type shots. I'm talking about Mike Tyson type shots. I'm talking about Ali type hits. I'm talking about running across the middle, Ray Lewis laying your ass out type L's is what I've been taking. However, when you take these type of L's, you can make a decision. You can, woe is me. You can quit. You can give up. And you can live in that, that misery. Or you can find a way to get out of it and build yourself up slowly but surely. The process may quicken up. It might stay steady, but just keep that process going. And that's exactly what I'm going through right now. Having to continue to tell myself, everybody takes an L. Everybody take massive L's. It's the people who keep going that sit down and talk about those L's they took. You don't get to that W if you stop. So it has been a rough year, really. But we still going. We still pushing through. I say we, but but y'all been rocking with me, so it's a we. But I'm so happy to be back for another episode of the recap on Saints World. We got a lot to talk about. I wanted to get that out the way first. And I want to say, I hope y'all having a dope day, dope afternoon, dope night, whichever point in time of the day you checking me out. I appreciate the people who clicked the show, who you saw it pop up on your feed and you said, gotta check it out. My boy's back. You couldn't even imagine how much I appreciate you. You just don't understand. You don't understand it. And one of the things that influenced me to get back so much, the biggest reason was, it's people who watch me. It's people who depending on me. It's people who actually, you know what I'm saying? When you start this shit out, it's one thing if it is just a hobby. But I've been telling y'all that this is a passion. So when you got people depending on you, I don't care if it's one person, come through. If you can't come through for one person, you'll never understand how to come through for 100 people, 200, 3, 4, 5, 10,000, 1,000,000. How we gonna understand how to? I said it before. You don't accept in victory what you wouldn't accept in defeat. That is a valuable quote. And a lot's been going on in the world since we last left off. And you want to know what's crazy? I had just recorded a show. So the biggest thing that happened was we recording on the bare minimum right now, because the things that we had before the recording, the things we used to make the slides, all the different things we was using, we had finally made upgrades. Yeah, that stuff got stolen. We're in the process of getting all that type stuff back. But the show that I had recorded, it was a great show. But the biggest thing that I was talking about in that show, and maybe I did upload the prediction video I didn't upload. But I don't even know if I uploaded the one where I was talking about how I think Baker Mayfield and them boys was going to end up beating the Lions. Because to me, those are the exact same teams right now. Shout out to my guy, Aiden Hutchinson. I told y'all he was going to end up being this stuff. This is, I didn't expect to start the show like this, but I do want to say something real quick because I'm glad this popped up in my head. Because I talked about two players, the preview, one last year and one for the past 2 years, now about to be 3. Aiden Hutchinson in his first year, I said he don't quite look like a dominant pass rusher yet because we so used to the TJs, the Myles Garretts, and we so used to these pass rushers putting up these crazy numbers. But I said he got a lot of signs of a pass rusher who's going to be a stud for the Detroit Lions. I said Aiden Hutchinson already looked like he got more positives than he had negatives, in my opinion. Yeah, it's things you can work on in your game, but I knew the longer he was in the league, like after that first year, I just felt like Aiden Hutchinson, he already got 6 sacks on the season. So he probably going to end up with 20 something. Aiden Hutchinson, and that's why I always say I'm not a big fan of Detroit's defense, but I love Aiden Hutchinson because if you watched him his rookie year, his second year, and now he keep getting better. And that's the thing. When players it's one thing to come in with hype. I understand some people say when you come in with hype, you have to immediately live up to it. I don't believe that. Aiden Hutchinson to me might not have had a TJ Watt-esque type rookie season, but he was still great his rookie season. And his rookie season showed me this dude can be a stud if he continue to get better. To me, the most important thing for a rookie is not his first season, it's his first off season. Because his first off season really dictates what he will do the rest of his career, in my opinion. Because I look at Pat Mahomes after he became a starter. What did he do that first offseason after becoming a full-time starter? Had a phenomenal offseason because he came back the next season, won a Super Bowl. When Lamar Jackson became a full-time starter, what did he do in his first? When he became the starter the rest of the year, what did he do in his first offseason? Came back that next year, won unanimous MVP. Joe Burrow in his first offseason. Josh Allen in his first offseason, Cam Newton in his first, you look at a lot of these great players, when they get that first offseason where they come back knowing I'm the starter going into this next year, I'm done with my rookie year, I played enough games, I started enough games, now it's this offseason dictates how I go going forward. Look at how many players were great after that first offseason as leaving the rookie year, which is really their first rookie offseason after the season closes. To me, when you look at Aiden, that first offseason he had as a rookie clearly was great because he done been better every single year. And that set the tone for his career. And that's why I always say I don't like Detroit's defense, but I do like Aiden Hutchinson because I do think he is a stud. Oppose that to what I said about Will Levis, who is a walking meme right now. Fell to his knees in week 1. I don't even remember what he did in week 2. And then this week where he got just teabagged basically. That was a brutal what the Packers did to him. He basically, I think it was he either fumbled it or got it picked off. Regardless, he fumbled it because when the big dude was trying to recover it, Jesus Christ, that could have been a concussion. But I know he a walking meme right now. But I said Aiden Hutchinson, I thought, proved to me that he was going to be a great player because he possessed far more traits of a player who's going to be great than a player that'll be bad. Oppose that to what I said about Aiden Hutchinson. About what I said about Will Levis. After he won that game on, I think it was Monday or Thursday Night Football I'm pretty sure it was the Steelers. And it was Aiden Hutchinson and not Aiden Hutchinson. Will Levis and the Titans, I believe, ended up winning that game. And I said after that game, a lot of people was hyping Will Levis up saying, he the future of the Titans. And I said, I think he's going to be a bad quarterback. Unless he change a whole bunch of things in his game. He got way more qualities that bad quarterbacks have than he do of good quarterbacks. And that wasn't me telling you that Will Levis was guaranteed going to be a bad quarterback because I still leave room for opinion. But sometimes I do jump the gun when I feel like, because I feel like my Will Levis take was far more solid, was more of a I feel this way than with Aiden Hutchinson. Nah, because I kind of felt like Aiden Hutchinson was going to be a stud too, just based off of what I saw. Yeah, what I saw from Will Levis, it's very rare that I make a solid type of take on a quarterback this early. But after that first game, I saw Will Levis, and I just said to myself, he do so much shit that bad quarterbacks do, and he kept doing it. And then when I saw him play the next week, he still was doing it. And then the next week, he was still doing it. It's like he was doubling down on doing stupid shit that bad quarterbacks do. And I understand that it's things that young quarterbacks do, like hold on to the ball too long. Sometimes they don't make anticipation throws. They wait for a dude to get wide open. However, when you go back and watch the tape for, what was Andrew Luck's biggest problem as a rookie? He held on to the ball too long. He tried to, what was Cam Newton's problem? He tried to make every play a big play. Like he didn't know when to go down at times. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes wanting to be Superman at times. That's far different, in my opinion, than some of the shit that Will Levis do. Example, Will Levis continuously threw off of his back foot. He still do this shit at times. Like this throwing off of you, and he don't even have to at times. He just do it. That's a very confusing thing to me because when you look at a lot of bad quarterbacks, so Baker Mayfield might be a great quarterback to some people, but he is still an average quarterback. Now, I don't think he is as bad as he used to be, but he's still an average quarterback to me. One of the things that Baker Mayfield did terribly was throw off his back foot so much. And then it's not, you compound that with the fact you don't have a Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen type of arm. You cannot be making throws off of your back foot when you don't have those type of arms. Will Levis like to do it. Baker Mayfield loved to do it. You look at the jitteriness in the pocket. It's so many things that when a play is dead, not understanding when to just kill the play. Instead, not trying to be Superman, just trying to make a dumbass play. I gotta make a dumb play. I got to. Because everything done broke down. You see that there's no play to be made, but you still want to make a dumbass play. You just feel like I got to make this. That's not being Superman when you usually don't result in Superman type plays. That's called being stupid when you continuously do stupid shit. With Lamar, Pat, and Josh, I understand when they call it Superman, they usually get it done for their teams. They more times than not have gotten it done by going rogue and being Superman. By saying, F it, I'll do it myself. Example, Lamar Jackson. He pulled the ball and won them the game Sunday. Josh Allen. My guy is on an MVP tear right now. You don't see a superstar. You probably don't know most of the receiver names over there with Buffalo. But I told you going into the season, all Josh Allen. I said it. I love Josh Allen so much, yo. Him, Lamar, and Pat, yo. I just don't understand how you don't fuck with them dudes. Will Levis, I ain't forgot about you. But the fact that I said in the offseason, Josh Allen did not need Stephon Diggs anymore. I understood the argument in the beginning where it was like, well, Josh Allen wasn't good until he got Diggs. I get that. But I said, sometimes you need a great receiver to speed up your process. To me, he didn't need Diggs for the past 2 years. He was just fortunate to have him. You're never going to want to have a great quarterback not have talent. You always want them to have talent because you don't want them to have to do more than they need to do. However, I told you in the offseason, Josh Allen, if you just watch him play, I understand people want to nitpick the turnovers. And I understand if you're a Lamar Jackson stan, so you're going to hate on Burrow, Allen. Screw Burrow. You're going to hate on Allen, Mahomes. I understand if you're a Pat Mahomes stan, you're going to hate on Lamar, Allen. If you're an Allen stan, you're going to hate on Pat. You're going to hate on Lamar. But I really feel as though these three fan bases need to come together and understand that you have three of the great, for one, they're the best three quarterbacks in the NFL right now. I don't care what the media tell you. Joe Burrow cannot do what those three quarterbacks can do. The fact that Joe Burrow has come up small so many times with the weapons that he have at his disposal. Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen have never had the type of weapons that Joe Burrow has. Not only that, people keep talking about Joe Burrow's offensive line. Lamar ain't playing behind a great offensive line right now. Haven't played behind a great one in like 2 years. Pat Mahomes had a bad offensive line a couple years back. Still got to a Super Bowl and won it. Except for one that they lost against the Bucks. Josh Allen has not played behind a great offensive line his entire career. But we never hear those excuses for those three guys. We never hear it. But we always hear it with Burrow. Jamar Chase, the only receiver that to me you can put on Jamar Chase's level is clearly a in his prime Stephon Diggs and in his prime Tyreek Hill. I get that. I'm not telling you that Pat and Josh didn't have anybody. It's when you move over to the next receiver, T. Higgins, Who was on either of those other three teams that was a T. Higgins? Because to remind you, Pat Mahomes lost Tyreek. Josh Allen still is just playing with Stephon Diggs, who is getting further away from his prime. Lamar Jackson is laughing right now at this conversation because he said, I haven't had a Chase Higgins, let alone a T. Higgins. I haven't had a Chase, let alone a T. Higgins. I haven't had a fucking Tyler Boyd at times. So I understand why he would be laughing at this conversation right now. But you tell me which one of those other two quarterbacks had a third receiver that was a Tyler Boyd. See, now both of those other two quarterbacks are laughing hysterically because they said, come on, Saint. You could have stopped after you got to T. Higgins. Now you tell me which one of those other two quarterbacks, or three, Lamar, Mahomes, Pat, had those three receivers and then had Joe Mixon in the backfield. I'm wondering. I just hear so many excuses for Joe Burrow. Oh, his defense didn't come through. Lamar Jackson's defense done failed him time after time after time. I always hear Lamar should have still made a play. When the offense settled for field goals in a game that's a high scoring game, all I hear is, well, Lamar should have scored on those possessions. For Joe Burrow, it's, oh, the team let him down. I just don't understand it. But nonetheless, the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Ravens, in my opinion, should come together and understand. You got three of the greatest quarterbacks that will play this game. I'm not telling you as a Bills fan you should be rooting for the Ravens or the Chiefs. I'm not telling you as a Chiefs fan you should be rooting for the Bills or the Ravens. What I'm telling you is you really should not be rooting against either of those three quarterbacks unless they're playing against you, into which you can have a healthy competition and rivalry. I don't feel the need to hate on the Chiefs or the Bills, to be honest for you. To keep it a buck with you, I root for both of those teams when the Ravens not playing them. And I understand the Ravens play the Bills next week, or this upcoming Sunday night, but I root really for the Chiefs and the Bills when they play other teams because of how much I love Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes. Like, listen, man, I just think those are special quarterbacks. And oppose that to Will Levis, because Will Levis, I did not forget about you, buddy. It's just a lot of things in Will Levis' game that is missing. And continuing this Will Levis conversation, because now another stem or another root grows from this seed. Packers with Malik Willis. Now, this is why I continuously say coaching does matter in the NFL. It just is very, in my opinion, because of how I see the game, it's very evident when you don't have a good head coach or when a head coach is your problem. And that brings me to two more things that grow from the Will Levis tree. Well, three, actually. The Bengals head coach, Zach Taylor. The Packers head coach, Matt LaFleur. And the Tennessee Titans former head coach, what was my dude's name? Mike Vrabel. And their current head coach, whose name I cannot think of right now. Look at all this bad coaching. Aside from Matt LaFleur. Group all those Titans head coaches in that over there and put Matt LaFleur over here. It's amazing what can happen with a player when you got some coaching behind them. At no point in time did I tell you Malik Willis was a good or great quarterback. Didn't know because we never really saw him play. But understand what I said about about Will Levis. If he doesn't change those bad things he does, he will definitely be a bad quarterback. What will help a quarterback change those bad things, aside from a great offseason after your rookie year, which you can clearly see Will Levis did not have because he already lead the league in turnovers after 3 games. But a head coach, or more so a head coach, and understanding how to put a player in position or what to put around a player to help his development. It would have been very easy for Matt LaFleur to get Malik Willis and just do nothing with him. Never expect to use him. Never expect to really have an injury by Jordan Love. You know what he did? He coached him up. And he put him in position to where if he need to have him and as a starter, he can win games with him still. Look at what's happening with the Malik Willis and the Packers right now. I was all doom and gloom when Jordan Love went down. For one, you know how much I love Jordan Love. But for two, that's another thing. Yet another stem or root grows from this Will Levis seed. Look at how I talked about Jordan Love before he became when he became a full-time starter last year. The offseason when I was talking about the Packers, remember I said I thought the Packers would end up winning the division. Now, he ended up getting to where I wanted him to be later in the season. But remember, I was all the way in on Jordan Love. And I said, I understand if people don't agree with me, but I see something with Jordan Love. I think this dude is going to be it. And I still think he's going to be the best quarterback in the NFC, but I do think it's another dude who's going to be up there with him now. We'll get to him later. However, oppose that to how I felt about Jordan Love to once again Will Levis. But like I said, coaching does matter, because while I don't believe Will Levis possess any of the tools that makes a special quarterback or a generational quarterback or even a great quarterback, he do have tools that can be coached up and make him a Ryan Tannehill-esque quarterback, a Derek Carr-esque quarterback. But that's where obviously he do play a part. I don't like it when people give players no blame whatsoever. Like, players do have to you have your off season to get better. Like, we done seen player after player after player get better in the off season, or get better because of the off season they had. So to me, Will Levis, yeah, that's on him. However, coaching matters. People in Tennessee and people around the media and people around the sports world thought Malik Willis was buns. You get him with Matt LaFleur, a great coach, a great play caller, a guy who clearly understands how to put people in position to be successful. He understands how to put people around people to be successful. It's a lot of shit that go into being a great head coach. Some people think it's just, he a good defensive play caller. He a good offensive play caller. He a good leader of men. It's a lot of shit that go into being a great head coach, which is why I've been on the Matt LaFleur train for a long time, because I just saw it early. Matt LaFleur did not need Aaron Rodgers. It just helped him to have Aaron Rodgers as that bridge till they got to the quarterback he wanted. Clearly, he wanted Jordan Love because they went up in the draft to get him. And he never wavered from his plan on wanting Jordan Love. It felt more like he was on, okay, when do Aaron Rodgers want to leave? When is he going to leave? He keep talking about leaving, retiring. When is he going to do it? So he could finally go all in on Jordan Love. To me, coaching matters. Matt LaFleur done proven that time after time after time. People was hating on him saying, he need Aaron Rodgers. To me, he done proven that is clearly not the case. The man was, a couple plays away from being in a Super Bowl last year. Or in the NFC Championship. No, they were in the NFC Championship game, weren't they? Who did the 49ers play in the NFC Championship game? Because the first game they played in the playoffs was against the Green Bay. I think it was the Bucks. Nah, it was the Lions. But the 49ers were Green Bay was a couple plays from being in an NFC Championship game last year against a team that they had beaten that season already in the Detroit Lions. And plus a team I would have took them over because, like I said, I had no faith in Detroit. But when you look at the Titans head coaching situation and play callers, the fact that they felt like they could get nothing and that's the thing that kept confusing me. You felt like Malik Willis was just not a good player for y'all, but y'all saw something in Will Levis. At no point in time in college or in the NFL, in my opinion, has Will Levis looked like he was a NFL caliber quarterback. And to me, it's the reason it's so funny that he done became a meme and all this on, Will Levis, the person, might be a great human being. He a weirdo for putting mayo in his coffee, but that's neither here nor there. Will Levis, the player, is a meme. And I can understand why. Because if you look at Will Levis play, in my opinion, He does not look like an NFL quarterback. He look like an NFL. Matter of fact, he does not look like a NFL low tier starting quarterback. He looks like he should be a dude that's seeing probably 1 or 2 games a year, maybe a couple plays when it's a blowout going on. Like, he should probably be the second backup to the backup. Like, but you saw nothing in Will and Malik Willis that you could coach up to get him to play better than what Will Levis is playing right now. Very interesting. Very interesting organization the Titans are. But, hey, we proceed. Anyways, Josh Allen. Oh, and it probably won't be segments in this show because it's like the first show back. So the segments will probably start back. Well, the segments will definitely start back next episode. But this like an old school episode without the segments. It's just us. We sitting and chatting. We sitting and talking. We sitting and we kicking it. Josh Allen. Now, I'm not going to go crazy over Josh Allen beating the dog shit out of the Jacksonville Jags. I expected Josh and them boys to go in there and do that. To me, the receiving position for the Bills won't matter until it actually matter. And what I mean by that is the games where you need them to come through big, that's when it's going to actually matter. A game like this where they go crazy because the Jags offer no resistance or no fight, you really can't judge them off of this type of game because to me, this is more of a Josh Allen type of game. Like Josh Allen was making all the throws. He saw everything because the defense could do nothing. So dudes was running wide open. Josh Allen just had to hit it. Like to me, I lean towards more of this was Josh Allen, more of it was the receivers. To me, next week against the Ravens, that's a game where it's okay. Let's see what these receivers can do. Even though the Ravens are dead last in pass defense, this is still one of those games where you expect that the Ravens will be up for this game. Lamar will be up for the game. Josh Allen will be up for the game. Those receivers, what will they do against? Because it's like I said about the Ravens receivers at times. To be great against bad teams does not matter to me. What do you do when you play the Chiefs? What do you do when you play the Bills? What do you do when you play the Bengals? What do you do when you play the 49ers? That's what mattered to me. And shout out to Zay, because he actually, I know I get on Zay because he done made some mistakes, but Zay usually show up against the Chiefs. He done shown up against the good teams. So I don't have that complaint about Zay. I'm not going to speak on our other receiver because this is a positive show right now. But next week, or when they play against the Chiefs, when they are in those big games against teams that you expect to contend for a Super Bowl, that's when I'm interested to see. That's when I'm really going to be able to judge the receivers for the Buffalo Bills, because I'm not concerned right now about who is the number one receiver. We'll figure that out as the season go on. Right now, you're more concerned with, can these dudes show up? Because one of the biggest things to knowing who's going to be your number one is who's going to show up in these big games. Who shows up against a Baltimore? Who shows up against a Kansas City? Who shows up against Cincinnati? Who shows up when we play these big games against the 49ers or the Eagles? The Cowboys, to me, are not a big game against good teams. Because I expect every good team with a good quarterback or a great quarterback or an elite quarterback to win that game against Dak. And I understand the James Cook aspect of the Bills. I still don't really think James Cook is James Cook, to me, I don't want to say he's not a number one running back, but I guess that's exactly what it would mean if I'm saying what I'm thinking, which is he wouldn't be my starting running back. So I guess that means, to me, I don't think he a number one. It's not that I don't think he great. He could be, to me, James Cook would be his talent would be best utilized if he played in a 2-run system where they had 2 great running backs, kind of like they did last year in Atlanta with Algier and Robinson. Like, I think he would play better in a system where he had, or if he was in a role where he had another great running back or another running back as good as him. Because I don't really think it's not fair to say Derrick Henry, obviously, because Derrick Henry the best running back of this era. However, when I'm thinking about Derrick Henry, I'm thinking about the number 1 running back qualities and what make, like, Christian McCaffrey. Like, okay, so when you think about the best running backs, the Saquons, the Christian McCaffreys, the Derrick Henrys, the what's my boy over there in Indy, Jonathan Taylors. It's like, what quality do they possess to make them special? All of them possess a quality that makes them special. I don't really think James Cook possess any type of special qualities that make him a upper echelon. I don't think I would hand him the ball off 20 plus times in a game. I think if I want to run the ball 40 times, which is not what the Bills want to do, so this is irrelevant to this situation. If the Bills want to hand the ball off 25 times a game, I just feel like I want James Cook to probably split that with another great running back. I don't really feel like I can depend on James Cook for 17 games a season to be a bell cow running back. And 1,000 yards, getting 1,000 yards, I know that's going to be special to a lot of people, but you can get a lot of handoffs a season and end up with 1,000 yards if you just determine to get your running back 1,000 yards. That's just the reality. But being a game-changing running back that can really get the Bills to where they need to be and take legit pressure. Like, example, Derrick Henry can legitimately take 3 games out of Lamar Jackson's hand, where he just dominate, possibly more, where he can just straight up dominate those games and not have to worry about, we don't have to worry about Lamar Jackson, don't have to worry about throwing it, or Saquon. Shit, even Isaiah Pacheco. Like, it's just certain running backs where they could give their quarterback 4 or 5 games off. I don't really think right now James Cook is a running back that's about to give Josh Allen 4 or 5 games off. Maybe 1 or 2, if that. And that's not me taking a shot at James Cook. And running backs can develop slow. Like, Josh Jacobs was not a stud. We didn't think of Josh Jacobs the way we think of Josh Jacobs after his first, 2 years. Or Derrick Henry. So I'm not telling you that James Cook can't still get to a great running back. I just don't see him as a bell cow or a guy who I even want to be my bell cow back right now. Because I don't really even like the term bell cow back, because that just means you hand the ball to a motherfucker a whole bunch of times. If you're a bell cow back, to me, that should mean you're a game-changing back. That's why we hand you the ball a lot. Not because you Rex Ryan and you just want to ground and pound. So a running back going to probably end up with a band worth of yards in your system because you just want to run the ball more than you throw it. I'm talking about a LaDainian Tomlinson, a Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry. I'm talking about those type of running backs who demand a high workload because of the production they give you when you give them that high workload, not players who is just getting a high workload because the offensive system demands it. So I just don't want to feel like I'm taking a shot at James at Cooks, but that's just how I feel about Cooks right now. But I am interested to see what the Bills offense really look like against the Chiefs. Gonna be a very interesting game because Josh Allen shows up against the Chiefs every time he play them. But man, it's always fortunate to have a Stephon Diggs type of weapon when you play against that type of defense. The way the Chiefs can defend the offense of the Bills right now, that's just going to be like it is when it's Lamar versus Pat. It's going to end up coming down to one of those dudes being great. Because I refuse to believe that Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes. I can't even remember the last time either of those 3 quarterbacks got blown out, to be honest with you. Like, they usually in every game. I think if I'm thinking correctly, the most recent blowout by either of these three dudes when they were blown out was, I think it was Josh Allen when they played against the Bengals. But that shit was such a lopsided ass, the talent levels were so lopsided. The Bills were already dealing with multiple injuries on the defense. You come in having to defend Chase, Higgins. You have to defend Chase. You end up defending Higgins. You got to defend Boyd. You got to defend Mixon. Like, and I think that was at the time where they had, who was the Ravens? Who did the Ravens draft in that draft before they drafted Lamar Jackson? Hayden Hurst. They had Hayden Hurst at the time, who he not a great tight end, but he can catch. He can run a few routes and whatnot. The Bills defense had no chance. They had no chance. And I think they probably lost that by what? Two tuds? But aside from that, and if you even want to consider that a blowout, I don't, these three quarterbacks are usually in every single game. So I don't foresee a blowout, even if I still see Josh Allen making it. Because I don't even think, I understand people like to go, oh, Josh Allen turned the ball over too much. Not really against these, not when he played against the Ravens and the Chiefs, really. I'm interested to see. I can't wait to see Josh. I can't wait to see this Sunday night. Waiting all week for Sunday night. We got to talk about the Ravens. I've been holding off because this team's annoying. This team's very annoying. They got their first win on Sunday, and I wasn't happy. I was not happy after the win because, see, they should have blown out the Cowboys like they should have blew out the Raiders. But they nearly lost to the Cowboys the same way they lost to the Raiders. Because for some reason, this is the most unserious defense. Or this is the most unserious defensive culture like shit I've ever seen in the past couple years. The fact that the Ravens are so addicted to, since Lamar Jackson became their quarterback, this addiction, and it go all the way back to when they had Wink Martindale. It even happened a couple times during Mike McDonald's era. And it's happened twice with Zach Orr. The addiction to not playing defense in the fourth quarter. The addiction to letting teams just walk right up and down the field when they down multiple scores. I don't understand the Ravens having a 2-score plus lead, double digits, and thinking to themselves, we don't have to play anymore. Now, at times, the offensive play calling is just, we're up by a lot. We don't have to do anything else. Granted, a lot of those times where the offense does that, they're probably up by more than 2 tuds. They're probably up by 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns, and a field goal. They're not usually up by just a touchdown lead when they decide to, okay, we can try to run this thing out. Even though I still don't agree with that in the past because you didn't have good enough running backs who could do that in the past. But I understand the offensive philosophy of let's limit the chances to turn the ball over. How do you do that? When you up by this many points, you try to run the clock out and run the ball. So I can't completely put this on the offense. Also, I think it's insane to blame an offense when they give you 30 plus points, or even at times 28 plus points, and the opposing team is stuck at 10 or less. To me, that's just insane to continuously to say, oh, that's the offense's fault. The Ravens defense We have Lamar Jackson, so we don't have to do anything else. We can just waltz through this fourth quarter. You want to know what's so embarrassing about what the Ravens do in the fourth quarter? Go back and look at these games. They give up these points so quick. Like, they don't even make the offense really work for them. They give up chunk plays, like big plays. They usually blow assignments. They done blown assignments in literally every game they done played this year. They blew the assignment against the Chiefs that gave up the touchdown. They blew assignments against Devontae Adams that gave up a touchdown, and multiple assignments that just gave him big plays. They blew assignments against the Cowboys that nearly got the Cowboys to win. But that's on Lamar Jackson. You see, I look at dudes like Stephen A. Smith, Marcus Spears, Jeff Saturday sit on ESPN First Take and defend Joe Burrow to the death. But then I also see them go at Lamar and say, Lamar got to do more. Lamar got to be better. Lamar got to make this throw. Lamar got to make that throw. They turn every little thing Lamar don't do great to them into key moments also. Like, oh, this was the key moment right here when Lamar didn't do this. What the Not even going to go there. I just find that very interesting as the trend they decide to go with when it comes to Lamar Jackson. But how they vehemently go hard for Joe Burrow. When the Ravens defense decide, let's give up 20, 15, 30, 35, 40, 60 yard plays, what Lamar supposed to do about that? And then you'll say, oh, well, they get to score too. You ain't got to stop. They done gave you 30 plus points. Do you know it was for like a 2.5 season span that the Ravens averaged, the offense averaged 31 plus points a game. And the Ravens still lost games in that span by blowing leads late in the fourth quarter. Not even just late in the fourth quarter. Just defense just straight up having field days in the fourth quarter. You never hear them talk about that on ESPN and whatnot. And this is my problem when I consistently talk about other motherfuckers get paid too. And the reason I consistently get pissed off about ESPN not talking about this type of shit is because this is why this shit continues to happen. You see, ESPN would love to spend their time talking about Lamar did this, Lamar didn't do that. Pinpoint things on, they get hypercritical on Josh Allen and things like that. And you obviously got the crew of white dudes who gonna defend all white guys to the death of them. But when you choose not necessarily go at, but highlight other problems with teams like you do for teams you defend, that allows teams to think that that's okay and they can just keep doing that shit over and over again. Because sometimes you need to be called out on shit. And sometimes coaches... See, I'm at the point where I'm starting to think John Harbaugh a little bit too nice. A lot too nice. Because this done been going on for... I can't even put a year on it now. Because it's been going on so long. It's a cultural thing at this point. Where you believe if Lamar Jackson done giving you 28, 30 plus points a game, that you can just stop playing defense. Fundamentals can go out of the window. You can stop tackling. How many missed tackles did the Ravens have in that fourth quarter? How many blown assignments? How many dudes just running wide open? How many slants? Roquan Smith getting lost in coverage. But the first 3 quarters, you look like the best defense in the NFL. Lamar give you a 2-touchdown field goal lead. Well, that's it, fellas. The other team gonna roll over. We don't have to play defense no more. We could just walk out here and go through the motions. Now, I want somebody to explain to me, what the fuck does Lamar have to do with that? But even more so than that, how is John Harbaugh continuously having his job called for on Twitter? When clearly, see, it's some things that you can blame on John Harbaugh. I absolutely agree that when you have a team that's undisciplined, that's a coach problem. Because something you're not doing is something you're saying is not getting through to these players. And that is why they continuously have these undisciplined type flags. However, as a matter of fact, over the last, 2 years, 3 years, this is a heavily penalized team. So I understand that if you want to go at John Harbaugh for that. But when you look at the other aspects of the team, because outside of that, John Harbaugh clearly understands how to put talent in position to be successful. He clearly understands how to hire people to help talent get better. Defensive players clearly succeed under John Harbaugh. Lamar Jackson clearly developed under John Harbaugh. He put the pieces in position to help Lamar Jackson. John Harbaugh is a phenomenal head coach. He is also a phenomenal. I understand people keep wanting to call him out on how he called a game. John Harbaugh calling a game is not a problem for the Ravens. If you think that is a problem for the Ravens, clearly you're not watching these games. Clock management is not even a problem for the Ravens. I don't understand this theory that John Harbaugh don't understand how to call games. They are in every fucking game they play. When they are losing by double scores, when that rarely happens, they figure out how to get back in that game. Why is that? It's not just a coincidence. John Harbaugh, over his tenure as a Raven since Lamar Jackson, and really before he lost all his talent for those couple years, this is not a Raven team to get blown out. That's coaching. You can't just take all the great parts about this Ravens team and just throw them out the window or give them to somebody else. No, John Harbaugh is an excellent head coach. He is a phenomenal head coach. He is going to be a Hall of Fame head coach when he retires one day. John Harbaugh is not the problem. I don't understand people's fear of wanting to critique players at times. Listen, I don't know if it's a channel out there that's nicer and more lenient to players than I am. I really don't. How the fuck is John Harbaugh the reason that these motherfuckers is just blowing assignments, missing dudes wide open, letting dudes run wide open, missing tackles? What the fuck does that have to do with John Harbaugh? He can run these niggas as much as he want to in practice. He can go over as much film. He can say as much as he want. The only way you changed, and people will say, well, you got to bench these dudes. For who? Another nigga sitting on the bench who can tackle even worse? A motherfucker on the bench who don't know the plays like the started? No, it don't work like that. You can't just be benching motherfuckers like that. It don't work like that. Especially if you don't have to. This is not a John Harbaugh problem. To me, if I'm looking at a coach, it's just a Zach Orr problem. For one, I don't understand how Zach Orr right now is so great in the first 3 quarters and then so terrible. But as a matter of fact, I don't even really think he's great in the first quarter. I think it's that second and third quarter where he good. And then the first and the fourth is just a blur. However, I'm not going to go in on Zach Orr right now. Because I still think this is a player problem. More so than a coaching problem. I'm just telling you, if I had to point a finger at a coach, it would probably be Zach Orr. The reason I'm not going to go in on Zach Orr, pause, is because we still had players doing this shit when we had McDonald. Mike McDonald was a phenomenal defensive coordinator. What I saw Mike McDonald do to great quarterbacks was insane. He one of the only defensive coordinators that I can remember over the last couple years that legitimately shut down great quarterbacks. Like, I love Steve Spagnuolo. Steve Spagnuolo hasn't really shutting down Josh Allen. He done had some games against Lamar, but Lamar done had some great games against the Chiefs. Even though he come out with the dub, the Chiefs come out with the dub, sometimes it's not just because Spagnuolo shut down. My thing with Spagnuolo is in the big games, Spagnuolo have his defense ready. When you look at how Mike Macdonald was able to shut down great quarterbacks and just stop those offenses from doing what they wanted to do, that motherfucker was special. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's the first one that John Harbaugh lost that I thought to myself, damn, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. And you look at the success he having over there early in Seattle, 3-0. I'm happy for Mike. I hope he end up getting a quarterback over there because that's going to be a tough team to stop for the next couple years if Mike can get a quarterback. Because I like Geno, but Geno is not getting you to the Super Bowl and winning that thing. But if Mike can get him a quarterback over there in Seattle, that culture in Seattle he going to set, the fans in Seattle, that 12th man going to come alive again, like really come alive again once they know they Super Bowl contenders. Oh my goodness. Y'all going to have such a fucking, Seattle. I don't know if it's a Seattle fan listening to this right now, but y'all have a hell of a head coach at the helm, and Mike. I'm telling you right now, Mike, just off of what he was in Baltimore, how he was defensively, the way players gravitated towards him, the way they rocked with him, the way they went out of their way to make plays because they wanted to make him look good. The way they backed him when he was up for a coaching job, like I'm telling you, and just what I done seen already from him. I love Mike Macdonald. I think he's going to be a phenomenal head coach. That's going to be John Harbaugh's best, what they call it? The John Harbaugh coaching tree. He going to be John Harbaugh's best coaching tree part. Like the best coach under his tree is going to be Mike Macdonald, in my opinion. Because I do think if the defense go crazy again, Zach Orr might be up for a job probably in a couple years. But if they keep doing the shit they doing right now, Zach Orr not going to make it to the end of the year. He will with John Harbaugh, but he probably won't keep that job within the next 2 years. Hard to say because John Harbaugh and them boys don't really fire people quick, which I respect that they don't fire people quick, but that also lead on to holding on to guys for too long. But then you look at the fact that this is one of the other reasons it's so confusing that he held on to Greg Roman for so long, because I truly believe John Harbaugh thought to himself, Lamar Jackson can outplay Greg Roman's coaching. We just need Greg Roman for what we have around Lamar. I really think that's what he thought. And then it came to the point where he realized, because Greg Roman don't really coach up other players also. Like that last year of Greg Roman when he got receivers running into each other or all in the same part of the field, I think that's when John Harbaugh realized, I gotta go get an offensive coordinator that can actually scheme up a passing game. Like we have Lamar, my guy. You don't have to do much. I just need you to be able to scheme up everybody around Lamar to make the game easier for Lamar. Once he realized for a fact that Greg couldn't do that, that's when he finally got rid of him. I truly think if he really look at Zach Orr, because he did have a problem. I think he already done looked at Zach Orr and he done had to have spoken to him and said something about how this defense is dead ass last in pass defense. I mean, this type of shit to get you fired. Wink Martindale, when his pass defense was ass and he was just relying on blitzing everybody, John Harbaugh didn't even give a damn that he had injuries. He said, fundamentally, this shit ain't working no more. You gotta go. In comes Mike Macdonald, which might even be John's best hire. I'm trying to think of that offensive coordinator that was there that year. Joe Flacco went crazy that one year. And I think it was, I know who it was for the Super Bowl, Jim Caldwell. But I'm thinking about the other dude who was great for Gary Kubiak before the Broncos took him. That was a great offensive coordinator for Flacco the one year he had him. But to me, I'm thinking about all the hires that Harbaugh done made. Wink was a great hire for a while. His tenure in Baltimore was better than his last couple years there. However, Mike Macdonald do make you put in perspective why John Harbaugh let go of Dean Pease, why he let go of Wink Martindale. Because when you look at Mike, who he didn't let go, he just lost because he became a head coach. Yeah, it's very clear that John Harbaugh understand how to he understand coaching and how he need to upgrade his coaching. To me, it's not a matter of John Harbaugh holding on to guys too long. He wanting to be too nice. I think he truly looking at this shit because if you look at the hires, every hire was better than the last. Now, you will eventually have a slip up in that process at some point in time. Like, we can't think about the bad. And then you also got to think about the dudes that he lost. He didn't actually lose them because he fired them. He lost them because they got hired as head coaches. Gary Kubiak got hired for the Broncos. Mike got hired in Seattle. You look at, what's my man name? He be on the Pat McAfee show. He got hired by the Indianapolis Colts. I can't remember his name. Chuck Pagano. He was our DC. He get hired as the head coach in Indy. I don't believe Rex Ryan was under John Harbaugh at any point in time. And if he was, he ended up going. No, he wasn't, because he was trying to get the head coaching job at the same time as John Harbaugh. But nonetheless, you look at the head coaches or the coaching staff under Harbaugh, his best coaches he lost because they got hired as head coaches. And the ones that he lost due to him replacing them, he improved every year. To me, the Zach Orr is him hoping that, to him, Zach Orr, it's not necessarily Zach Orr needing to be better than Mike, because Mike's a head coach for a reason now. It's Zach Orr needing to still be better than what Wink was when Wink left, and not being significantly worse than what Mike left. That's really what you're hoping for. Right now, that fourth quarter defense resembles a lot of Wink Martindale. Not to mention, you don't really do your defense. Now, I can't keep making excuses for this pass rush or how he send the pass rush, for the simple reason you look at how Mike McDonald was able to get out what he was able to get out of his pass rush, how the pass rush came from everywhere. He did also put players in good position, and you can argue he had more to work with, I guess, but I'm not here to make excuses for Zach Orr. He gonna have to clean this shit up. I mean, plain and simple. But at the end of the day, the players that's on the field, like Marlon Humphrey's done been a part of this shit happening for years now. He been one of the biggest pieces, one of the biggest reasons. I told y'all last year that Brandon Stevens to me was an average cornerback. He was good, but he wasn't like special like people was making him to be. And Raven fans was calling me a fucking hater. They said, saying you don't know what the fuck you talking about. It was one motherfucker on Twitter who really went at me for saying that about Brandon Stevens. So, talking about some, bro, you just a hating ass motherfucker, bro. You probably not even a Raven fan, bro. Because the real ones respect B. Steves. I'm like, bro, I have no ill will in my heart for Brandon Stevens. I'm just calling the tape how I see the tape. The film is a film. Like, I don't make shit up when I'm watching the film. I don't say what I want to happen. I'm just calling it how I see it. And I make observations after I stockpile it. After I watch a couple things of tape, you know what I'm saying? Then I form an opinion on what I think can happen and might happen in the future. But I don't watch the tape and say, oh, you know what? Instead of what I actually saw, this is what I think should have happened, or what. No. I tell you exactly what happened and I go from there. Brandon Stevens is a good to decent corner. And he done had some good games. He is not a number one corner in my opinion. I stand by that thought process. He don't possess anything to make him a special cornerback, for one. That's the first thing. Damn near every cornerback that I think is great possess. Darrelle Revis, great one-on-one. That's why you got Revis Island. Richard Sherman, unbelievably great zone cover corner, but also motherfucker was damn near a receiver, the way he could pick off passes. Gardner Minshew. Sauce Gardner. Look at his length. Look at his size. Look at how tall he is. Look at his ball skills. Like, what about Brandon Stevens make him special? Marlon Humphrey's in his prime. Great ball skills, even though he was terrible at catching the ball. He was great at seeing where the ball was at and knowing where to knock it down. He was great at knocking the ball down. Great at knocking the ball out. He ran routes just like the receiver damn near. The only thing that ever hurt Marlon in his career was playing against number ones who were tall and could just go up the field on him. Which is weird because Marlon's fast. So that never made sense to me. But Brandon Stevens don't possess shit that prime Marlon Humphrey. All pro Marlo. when that was a thing. He don't possess nothing that player had. So that's why I'm always confused when people, Raven fans specifically, talk about how great Brandon. Because I would probably start Wiggins over him, to be honest with you. Because to be a band with you, I don't even think with Marlon Humphrey's blown assignments, he's still better than Stevens. And Marlon Humphreys is bad at the 5-step drop at this point. Like, it's almost guaranteed that somebody could just run a quick 5-step and get the pass, beat Marlon on that shit every time. A comeback out, like, it almost feel like Marlon gonna get that shit up all the time because he'd rather just try to knock it out than actually be there to make that play on the ball. His ball skills do seem as though they have diminished a bit. But watching Marlo, he's still better than Stevens, which is the bigger issue to me because I don't trust Marlo through 17 games or in a big game. That to me is the bigger issue. Not that if you think Stevens is better than Marlo. I don't think neither of the two right now are playing good enough to where I trust them in a big game. Marcus Williams, I like Marcus. He looking suspect out there. Like, Kyle Hamilton can't be the only great player out there because essentially it would negate how great he is if nobody else around him is even good. And I did talk about Roquan missing some coverages, but the middle linebacker they got playing opposite Roquan clearly don't have the speed of a Patrick Queen. So I don't understand why we keep putting him in positions that you would put Patrick Queen in. And I'm not telling you, oh, Patrick Queen is some great player. Patrick Queen is still one of the faster linebackers in the league. You cannot take for granted. You know who I think the Ravens what they need to do? They need to try to trade Mark Andrews for EJ Speed on the Colts. The Colts linebacker, EJ Speed, and it's funny that his last name is Speed because he actually is a fast linebacker. He would actually come in and play the exact role that Patrick Queen played, except he is better than Patrick Queen. So that's what they should do. Now, the only reason that they might not go do that is because I believe that EJ is a free agent at the end of the season. And a lot of teams are probably going to be trying to give up a lot to try to get him in the building and stay to keep him in the building. Because I think he's going to get a big payday in the offseason. But if it was a player out there that you could package a Mark Andrews and maybe like a 3rd round pick, I would try to get that out of the Colts for EJ Speed. Because for one, they could use a Mark Andrews right now. Like, their quarterback, he need a reliable tight end who he can just go to all the time. Mark Andrews would be phenomenal for Anthony Richardson's growth as a quarterback. Because right now, Anthony Richardson is just not good to me. He make too many mistakes and he rely too much on physical ability right now. And the mental part of the game and the other parts of the game right now is just failing. And you can't rely on making that one big throw every game. You can't rely on running motherfuckers over all the time. And he's not elusive enough to continuously play the way he play, in my opinion. So, to me, if you get a Mark Andrews over there in Indy, that would do wonders for the Colts, in my opinion, and for the development of Anthony Richardson. And to me, EJ Speed is the dude that you need to try to get back as the return because he would work wonders for the Baltimore defense right now. He a fast linebacker. He can cover. He can, meaning he can go play in coverage and he tackles. I think he had like 102 tackles last year, if I'm not mistaken. But nonetheless, that's who they need to be trying to move for Mark. And now I know I said you should be using Mark Andrews on a receiver. But the offense don't really look bad to me right now. Like, I understand the receivers could end up letting me down, but they don't really look terrible to me. Like, and I don't know what receiver is out there right now, unless the Titans want to move off of DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know what other receiver is out there right now that they can realistically go get, because let's say if Washington was playing bad, I would say Terry McLaurin. But why in God's name would Washington move Terry McLaurin when Jaden Daniels is on a rookie contract? That would make no fucking sense to move a star receiver like that, a clear number one, when Jaden Daniels is on a rookie contract. So I don't see McLaurin as an option. Drake London, in my opinion, is not an option either, because even if Kirk Cousins don't end up being what they want him to be, you still got the rookie sitting behind him. So I don't think that that's an option. Penix there. Michael Pittman Jr. is interesting also as a return from the Colts, but I don't see that happening either, because I think you would be trying to put more talent around your quarterback, not take talent that's already good there away from your quarterback, especially not taking away a great receiver just to get a great tight end. I think that would be crazy. I'm trying to think of all the young or good receivers that I think, like DeAndre Hopkins is the only realistic one to me. I don't even know what's going on with Michael Thomas or where he at, or if he even still playing. I can't think of any other receivers that could be like game changing for the Ravens right now, because all the other ones either locked up on long deals or are not getting traded. So when you think about that, to me, unless DeAndre Hopkins is the move, I think you got to go out and try to make significant improvements on the defensive side of the ball. And speed would be a great addition. Not to mention, I don't know when, but at some point in time, I keep saying it. It's like I'm a broken record. They got to go get a fucking pass rusher that can legitimately change it. TJ Watt, Myles Garrett is pass rushers. I know I always say those two and then I don't keep going. But listen, those are the model. You need pass rush. And I'm not telling you that it's easy to go get them. But Shaquille Barrett was over there in Tampa Bay. Von Miller, Matt Milano in Buffalo. Like, other teams have great pass rushers or great players on the defensive side of the ball that can go shut the game down in the fourth quarter. The Ravens, I understand, got Nnamdi Madubuike. He is an interior lineman. Kyle Van Noy is older in his career. So that to me is not a realistic, believe that he can 16 or 14. Because TJ Watt, 14 out of the 17 games, if you lucky. If you those lucky other teams. Because it's probably, nowadays it's 17 out of 17 if he healthy. He making a difference in the fourth quarter. He's shutting the team. Every opportunity he get where TJ, we need you to shut this game down for us in the fourth, he making it. That's what Aaron Donald did for you. That's what Von Miller's do for you. That's throughout Von's career. I know he haven't been that the last couple years, but he looked good this year. Khalil Mack for the Chargers, Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa. It's players around the league, and the Ravens for some reason won't. Hell, the Steelers even got Hightower over there. The Bengals got Hendrickson and Wilson. The Browns got not Jadeveon Clowney. The Browns have Myles Garrett. And the Ravens just keep thinking that they can cheat the process. Because that's what this is to me, cheating the process. Because there's absolutely no reason, none, why the Ravens should not have a stud pass rusher. But they don't. And that's because they continue to believe they can cheat the process with having everybody be great around them. But this is the thing. Mike McDonald was able to do it because he is a generational defensive coordinator. The same way we look at Kyle Shanahan as a defensive offensive mind, as a generational offensive mind, Matt LaFleur, the Sean McVays, the Andy Reeds. That's the same way I feel about Mike McDonald. Generational defensive mind. So you're not going to get out of others what Mike McDonald could get, because he's generational. He just knew what the fuck he was doing. He knew exactly how to get what he needed out of players and how to put them in position to be great. It's just some guys got it. Some guys really got it. And Mike McDonald really got it. But the Ravens are really fucking annoying. Okay? I started the segment by saying that. And I'm getting close to ending this segment, but I wanted to say it again because they're really getting fucking annoying. Not getting. I'm already annoyed. And I saw this Marlon Humphrey thing. I saw this video recently. It wasn't even really a video. It was like a, what do you call it? On YouTube. A short of this dude saying, "Come on, Marlon, every time I see you on that TikTok," I don't know where that came. "Every time I see you on that, what he say? You on that podcast." He said, "Every time I see you." He said, "Every time." He said, wait, what he say? He say, "You need to play." What he say? "Get off of that podcast and play better." What, that nigga was going in on Marlon, man. That shit was funny as hell. I gotta go watch that shit again. But this, if I was Marlon, I would have turned around and said, "Man, shut the fuck up." But I ain't gonna lie. I do see why some fans will be like, Marlon give up these big plays. He be getting beat in coverage, or he blow assignments, and then he'll hop on. What he supposed to do? He got to make money. I mean, what y'all want him to do? Just quit because he had a bad game? That's crazy. That's why we're broke. That's why, see, broke people always want rich people to do broke people shit. It's broke people who get mad about some shit and then lose all their next couple money opportunities by sulking and being depressed and sitting around in their feelings and just having days off because they just want. No. Rich people know how to compartmentalize. Okay, I lost yesterday, but I got a job to do today. I know that sucks to hear at times, but that is what it is. That is very simple. I lost yesterday. I got a job to do today. The money don't stop because the bills don't stop. I get it too, though. It's hard to get through certain days. I truly do get it. I feel like I done hit rock bottom this year at a point this year. But like I said, I understand why an athlete, if I lose, I'm not going to just not get it. I'm not going to sit around in my house all day and be depressed. I'm not going to just I lost, so let me be in the gym all day tomorrow. No, yo, y'all live in this la dumbass fantasy world where athletes got to eat, breathe, and sleep winning games for y'all, bro. Like, y'all are weirdos. I swear to God, y'all are fucking weirdos. Apologies for the people out there who don't believe in swearing to God. My apology. I did not mean to do that. But I swear to fucking now I'm trying to think of something to replace it with. You happy, Christians? I'm just playing. Chill out. Listen to me though. I got no problem with Barlow doing what he doing. I don't really think Barlow done played that bad to keep it 100 with y'all. I don't think Marlon done played that bad. I think really y'all overblow shit because fans are more invested, not more invested in the players, but fans think that they are more invested than the players are. But when I look at this Ravens team, they got to figure this shit out defensively. I don't think it's their offense. I think it's insane to keep having the offense go out there and score as many points as they score and say, oh yeah, and also keep scoring when the defense just give up points in the fourth quarter. Just keep letting teams shoot the score. They don't even make teams go on long, elongated drives. They just 2 minutes, 1 minute. Like, they just giving up big plays. It makes no sense. Teams can just go into 2-minute drives in the fourth quarter on the Ravens the whole fourth quarter and get back in games. It's absolutely insane. And it don't really matter who it is. Gardner Minshew, Dak Prescott, it don't really matter. It's embarrassing. So until the Ravens figure that out, I'm putting my Super Bowl expectations on hold because it's insane to keep asking Lamar Jackson to overcome this nonsense. It really is. Pat Mahomes don't have to deal with this type of shit. That's what I hope the Ravens was watching the Chiefs defense on Sunday night. You notice how in the fourth quarter, how they basically bared down. Now I understand there was some plays out there that the refs didn't call. The refs is clearly wearing that red and white this season. I see it. I see it. I hear you and I understand you. But, you know, I was going to say I feel you, but you don't want to do that in today's society. You know, people might think you the diddler or something. But anyways, my whole thing with the Ravens defense is sit back and watch the Chiefs defense. That's why they're champions. Because it's something about them that they understand in the fourth quarter. That's when we need to be at our best. When our quarterback can't figure out how to get us in that end zone, that's when we need to be at our best. When he score, we don't need to just let the other team go down the field and score again because we said to ourselves, okay, we've been playing good all game. We finally got a score. We can sit back and relax. No. We should be trying to get the ball back again so he can score again. Man, I'm telling you right now. Now, like I said, you can continue to say that's a John Harbaugh issue. And you can even say because it's done happened so long with Harbaugh that that's a John Harbaugh issue. I just find that hard to believe when you got the talent that they done had on that defense. See, it'd be one thing if John Harbaugh didn't have stars on that defense that could coach themselves on that field. That'd be one thing. It'd be one thing if John Harbaugh didn't already prove in the past that I done had defensive coordinators who don't allow this type shit to happen. It'd be one thing if John Harbaugh done had a history of every single year under John Harbaugh, but this is not the case. It's just under these certain DCs that he done had where this shit is prevalent. Because it didn't happen when he had Ray Lewis, Terrell Suggs, and Ed Reed walking out there every day. Now, some people might say, well, look at the names you just named. Now, I'm not comparing no player I'm finna name to those three names. But the Ravens are not walking out there without talent on the defense. They have Roquan. They have Marlon Humphreys. They have two all-pros on the defense right now. Marlo is still an all-pro. However, two of them made all-pro last year, and Kyle Hamilton, a second-year all-pro player, and Roquan Smith, who most people say is the best middle linebacker in football, if not the first, the second. John Harbaugh shouldn't have to always not be able. The fact that you are telling me that he can't rely on those two dudes and all the other talent that he got out there on that defense, because it's not like he got no name talent out there, to be able to not allow shit like this to happen when he done been able to do it before. That's why I'm baffled by the fact that people think this is a John Harbaugh issue. And then the play calling, the offensive play calling. I don't understand what people think the problem with the play calling is right now. I agree with John Harbaugh when he said, we got Derrick Henry, but we're not finna hand the ball to Derrick Henry 30, 40 fucking times a game. We have Lamar Jackson. This is not a team void of a quarterback where Derrick need to run the ball that much. This is a team that can use him strategically because we have a quarterback. If Josh Allen had Derrick Henry right now, do you think that the Bills would turn into a turn around and hand the ball off 40 times a game? No. Do you think Pat Mahomes, if he had Derrick Henry, would turn around and hand the ball off 30 plus times a game? No. So why in the fuck would they have Lamar do that? Yes, there will be some games a year where all three of those quarterbacks rely on the running back to carry them through the game. But when you have a talent like that, Joe Burrow would benefit if they got a running back and just turned around and handed the ball to him about 20 times a game. They just not they immune to doing that, even when they had Joe Mixon. They did it a little bit on Monday Night Football this previous Monday, but you still knew they were throwing that ball. All the weapons was healthy. They was throwing that thing. But I'm baffled by the John Harbaugh disclosure or whatever. Also, like I said, get off of Marlon Humphrey's nuts. He can make money outside of football. Just because y'all miserable don't mean he got to be miserable after the game. And it's not like him recording means he's not happy that it's not like he happy they lost just because he hop on his show afterwards. Y'all are insane. 2, I see Lamar Jackson said some of y'all was on suicide watch. Y'all need counseling. Y'all need help. Y'all need Jesus. So I'm praying y'all find that. Is there anything else we want to touch on? Oh yeah, I'm tripping. We ain't out of here yet. We got one more thing to touch on. And then next week, I mean, not next week. In the next show, I'll go more in depth on the scores and the different games and things like that. Jaden Daniels. Boy, oh boy. You know, I didn't quite know who I thought the best quarterback in this draft was. I now know who I think the best quarterback in this draft was. And it is Jaden Daniels. And not only do I think he the best, he by far has the highest ceiling. I've been waiting for one of these quarterbacks to have a game, not necessarily just a out of this world game. I've been waiting for one of these quarterbacks to have a game where it says, I'm ready to be in the NFL. See, CJ Stroud, it's not like he was all world last year, even though he was all world. But he had so many games where he already looked like an NFL quarterback. It's not that he didn't look like a rookie at times. He did. But he still had more games than not. He looked like he was ready to lead a team as a professional. He looked like he could be the dude that you relied on at the quarterback position as a rookie. And Jaden Daniels showed you in that Monday night game against Joe Burrow and the Bengals, I can be one of those guys. I can be one of those guys that make the throws, that make the reads, that make the plays, and I can be the playmaker and get it to the playmaker. I can be coached. I can make mistakes and come back from that in the game and make big play. I liked everything I saw from Jaden Daniels. My favorite thing in that game is when he missed Terry McLaurin on that crosser, on that deep crosser. And Terry McLaurin did not get mad. He didn't blow up at him. He didn't spaz out. And they still ended up scoring on that drive. And then look at how the rest of the game played out. When he needed to make a play to Terry, they both trusted each other still that they were going to make the play. How different is this game if Terry decided to go over there and spaz out and blow up at him like CeeDee Lamb did Dak Prescott? See, I'm now starting to understand why some people call receivers divas. And I done said this before. I understand receivers thinking I can do more to help the team. But for you to tell yourself that everybody else ain't doing just as much as you right now to try to help this team is just silly. The fact that you think it's dudes that the best players on this team is going out there and telling themselves, I'm not working. I'm gonna give it 50% is insane, because them motherfuckers get paid the big bucks too. So, in my opinion, what Terry McLaurin did for his quarterback, his rookie quarterback, that's gonna do wonders for the quarterback, because, like I said, we done seen the receiver spaz out and don't do shit for his quarterback's confidence. We done seen what the Jets will do to a quarterback. It's very easy for this thing to flip sideways. So I like how Terry McLaurin responded, but I like what I saw from Jaden Daniels. I don't think he is as elusive or fast as Lamar Jackson, but he did show some traits in that game to me that reminded me a little bit of Lamar. I like Jaden Daniels' throwing motion. I like him I don't know if I really necessarily love him. I like him from the pocket. Damn near love him from the pocket. Now, I'm not telling you that saying that he's perfect from the pocket. But what I'm saying is, and I'm also not saying him like his throwing, how he throw the ball from. Listen, when I say in the pocket, go look at Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. Look at just watch how they play in the pocket. Jaden Daniels showed me signs of that on that Monday night game. I think Jaden Daniels is going to be a stud. I really do. I also saw the thing people talking about Caleb Williams and his post game thing with CJ Stroud. That's interesting. We'll talk about it on the next one. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all for joining me on another episode of The Recap. Tell somebody you fuck with them. Tell somebody you love them. You can be anything in this world, so choose to be kind to somebody today. Like, subscribe, share. I fuck with y'all. I love y'all, and I appreciate the support. Sign out.
I have fought the good fight, and I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Well, I fought a good fight. I have finished my football race. And after 18 years, it's time. God bless all of you, and God bless football.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, you know she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy, scoop her up like I'm raking her something. You would think shawty ran track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber, you out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home. Tight.